Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I work as an assistant psychologist with the Isle of Man Mental Health Service. In this video, I'm going to be discussing trauma and traumatic stress. I'll talk a little bit about what trauma is, the impact that trauma can have on us, and how to cope in the aftermath of a traumatic experience. So what is trauma? Trauma is a situation or an experience that leaves a person feeling incredibly distressed or disturbed. Trauma is very subjective, so what one person considers to be very traumatic might not necessarily be as traumatizing to another person, although there are many situations that are commonly accepted as traumatic experiences. In the past, we tended to associate trauma with soldiers returning from war, but nowadays we understand that there are a variety of experiences that can be traumatic for an individual. Some examples of traumatic experiences include things like abuse, neglect, bullying, community violence, accidents, including car accidents, physical or sexual assaults, war or acts of terror, and life-threatening illnesses. Generally, when experiencing a trauma, people report a variety of emotions, including feeling unsafe, under threat, humiliated, abandoned, trapped, or powerless. Trauma can also be experienced in many different ways. So a trauma can be a one-off incident, for example, or it can be a series of ongoing events. Trauma may have directly impacted you, or you may have witnessed it happening to somebody else. Regardless of what the traumatic experience was, or the ways in which you were involved, it's important to know that your reactions and your feelings are completely normal. In the immediate aftermath of a traumatic experience, it's not uncommon for people to feel a range of emotions. This can include anything from sadness to anger, guilt, numbness, shame, helplessness, and anxiety. Most people will also experience symptoms of stress following a trauma. So you might find that you are having difficulty sleeping, or that your appetite is quite poor. You might find yourself being really snappy and irritable with others. You might find that you're feeling really keyed up and tense and on edge more often than normal. And again, you should know that all of these reactions are completely normal. They're your brain and body's way of responding to trauma exactly the way that they were designed to. Try and think of traumatic stress as a normal reaction to a very abnormal situation. In the days and weeks following a traumatic experience, self-care is incredibly important. Be patient with yourself if you're experiencing any of the symptoms that I mentioned above. Make sure that you're eating regularly, even if you don't have much of an appetite, and try to keep to a consistent sleep routine if possible. Although you might be tempted to isolate yourself from other people, it's really important that you spend some time with people who are close to you or that you can depend on. You might want to open up about the experience, or you might want to just enjoy their company without having to talk. If you find that you're experiencing more severe symptoms, such as flashbacks, there are still some things that you can do to help yourself. Because flashbacks tend to make you feel like you're back in that traumatic moment, it's really important to refocus your attention on the present. You can do this by first trying to reassure yourself that you're safe and that you're hopefully in a different environment and a different situation than you were when the trauma happened. Try and focus your attention on things in the room with you by using your 5 senses. So see if you can reach out and touch an object. Really notice the texture, the weight of it, how it feels in your hand. See if there are any noises in the environment that you can listen into, like the ticking of a clock or the sound of somebody's voice. Also try to notice if there are any strong smells in the air. Finally, you can also use your sense of taste. If possible, try and keep a mint or a strong tasting sweet in your pocket. If you feel that a flashback is coming on, pop the sweet or the mint into your mouth and try to really focus on the taste, the texture, how it feels, to bring yourself back into the moment again. These are called grounding techniques, and they're really useful for flashbacks. You can find more of them by searching online. Grounding techniques are also really useful for people who experience anxiety generally, not necessarily just flashbacks. If you find that you're feeling more tense or on edge after a traumatic experience, you can try practicing things like progressive muscle relaxation, guided meditations, and deep breathing exercises. YouTube has some really great guided meditations and relaxation exercises in particular, so I would really encourage you to check them out. Remember, experiencing symptoms of stress after a traumatic event are completely normal. Most people will find that their symptoms begin to subside after about a month, but some people might need further support. If you find that your symptoms are worsening, or you feel that you're not getting back to your usual self, or that your symptoms are impeding your daily activities, then it's possible that you might need professional support, and that is available on island. If you've been the victim of a crime, such as domestic abuse or sexual assault, then you might consider reaching out to victim support. Victim Support are an on-island charity which offers confidential help to people who have been impacted by crimes. You can also contact mental health services on island, either by visiting your GP and speaking about a referral, or by submitting a self-referral, such as to the Community Wellbeing Service, which can be accessed by going on our website or phoning us. Finally, if you feel that you're experiencing a mental health crisis, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Crisis Response and Home Treatment Team. They can be reached on 642-860, and they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I would just like to end this video by again reiterating that whatever you are feeling in the wake of a traumatic experience is completely normal. It doesn't mean that there is anything wrong with you, and there is help available if you need it. Thank you. Take care of yourself.